Hello again, everyone. Today I wanted to share a use that I found for traveler's notebooks that may not necessarily be typical, but in these notebooks there are what you could call motivational cards or oracle cards, however you want to call them. I am not necessarily someone who is a super believer in like tarot cards and all that kind of thing. Sometimes I'm into them because of the art on them and that kind of thing, but these are not really tarot cards. These are more inspirational cards and also cards to kind of have some self affirmation. I'm going to get the one that I have on my desk right now. The one that I have on my desk right now is this one, and the rest of this deck is in this A6 Sojourner. It might be a folio that is a hybrid because it has strings, but I'll show you that in a minute. So this one says, I am safe in the universe and all life supports, or all life loves and supports me. I would love to believe in this, and I feel like having it on my desktop will make me feel a little bit better every day if I can look at it. But I will switch them out, not necessarily every day, but whenever I feel like I need a new one on my desk. And this was something that I felt like I kind of needed right now. This was a message that I kind of needed right now. So when I pulled it from the deck, I put it at my desk. So I put that someplace on my desk where I can see it every day. And I'm going to go ahead and get into this one that has that deck first so that we can show you that. So this particular notebook, like I said, is a Sojourner A6 size, and I believe it's a hybrid folio. I bought this, I can't remember if it was a buy-sell trade group or if it was a resale site somewhere. I forget, but I had not had any of this particular color leather, and now, oh my god, I'm blanking on the color of this leather. It's the light brown of the three somewhat stiff leathers from Sojourner. I will put the link down below and the color name down below so that you will know what that is. If I remember it while I'm talking, I'll let you know what it is. And then it has this special brown pocket. So I really liked this little notebook and wanted to find a use for it. And then I had those cards. So these are the card deck. They all have this on the back, which is this really pretty image. And I just had them out on my desk, and I was always kind of knocking them over, and I kind of wanted somewhere to put them, and I just kind of put them in here and was like, well, that's a perfect fit. I mean, they're not in a little sleeve or anything, but what I have been doing is sometimes I'll put a little string around the deck like this, and that'll hold them together enough so that they don't fall out. So my only problem with this deck, and this deck, I cannot remember the name of the company that I bought it from. They're a handmade deck from a small maker. So I will go ahead and find the information about that and link it down below. But my only problem with this deck is that I don't always agree with some of the statements, and I feel like some of the statements on the cards may not have been all that well thought out. Let me see if I can find an example. No, that's a good one. I am whole. I trust my inner voice. I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries about the future. That's a good one. I've had that on my desk before and tried to. That's also a good one that I like. I do not have to prove myself to anyone. Yeah, so this one is a good example. Today is a sacred gift from life. Like, I don't quite get that. I mean, it may just be the phrasing that's kind of throwing me off, but sometimes these cards don't necessarily speak to me, and if they don't, so here's the little what are affirmations. So let me read that to you. But if something doesn't appeal to me when I pick it out of the deck, I will just put it back and pick another one. So this says, what are affirmations? Affirmations are positive statements describing a desired emotion, situation, or goal. Affirmations have been used for many centuries in the form of mantras or prayers. They work when your powerful subconscious mind hears your words and programs your experience and behavior to reflect the affirmation. So basically it's like positive reinforcement. There's like my therapist, so I see a therapist. Everyone should see a therapist. I highly recommend it. But my therapist often talks to me about developing a mantra for myself, and it's more about self talk, of trying to reinforce a positive message to myself. If I have some negative self talk going on, for example. And this is kind of the same concept. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not this actually works for me. I do think that when I see the card and I read it, it does make me feel a little bit better. So there's that. This other littler one, let's go on to that one next. So this is a speckled fawns. This is a micro trifold, which when I got it, I thought it was really adorable, but I was like, what am I going to use this for? And then I realized that the cards from this pack, this is the cards that are in here, and I'll show you when I open it, fit perfectly in here, although I did end up having to stretch the trifold a little bit bigger than it normally would be. So like here where this stitching line is, that's sort of the edge of what's supposed to be the notebook itself. But because this trifold bit of leather is so long, it actually works pretty well to wrap these up because it's the right height, which was perfect. So this deck I got off of Amazon, and it's another affirmation deck, really. So I'll go ahead and open it up and show you some of those. So again, these all just kind of sit in here and are wrapped up, and here I have an elastic that I have around it just to kind of hold it together. And then there's a little note here. So I have the perfect living space. Yeah, again, like, oh, and there's things on the back too. I see myself living in a wonderful place. It fulfills all of my needs and desires. It's in a beautiful location and at a price I can afford. So, like, this might not apply if that doesn't apply to you. Like, for years and years and years, I lived in a really crappy apartment with terrible neighbors who would keep me up all night. And this would not have been a card that would have described my living space. And I probably would have been a little irritated by drawing this one at the time. Now that might be true of my living arrangement, but that definitely has not been true for probably the bulk of my life. So that kind of thing, I kind of wonder what they were getting at with that one. I am willing to change. Well, that's kind of a good one. And then so the front is the little saying, and then the back kind of describes it a little bit more. I am willing to release old negative beliefs. They are only thoughts that stand in my way. My new thoughts are positive and fulfilling. So it is safe to look within. My work is deeply fulfilling. That's another one. So some of this is like, I don't know, what do you call it when you're trying to shape your own reality? Like, it might not be what you have, but you kind of want it to be what you have. I mean, I'm okay with my work, but in many times in my life, this would not have been true as well. So picking something like that, I am at peace with my sexuality. That I am. I let go of all expectations. My thoughts are creative. So like some things in here, I don't know, and I have not looked through all of these. So these are a fairly recent addition to my little cards. And I don't think I talked about this yet. So I originally found out or decided to start doing this kind of thing when I took some art classes with Lally Mill, who I know I've mentioned on the channel before. I'll link to her website below. She's a mixed media artist that has really great art classes, and it's all part of her teaching style is all about positivity and kind of like playing through art and trying to reinforce with yourself that, you know, you're worth doing art. You're worth spending the time to do it, you know, and trying to build up your own positive self-talk. So this was one of the decks that she showed in one of her lessons. And then this deck is also one that she showed. And this one is not so much an affirmation deck like those other two are, but this is more of what they call an oracle deck, where it's more about trying to get in tune with certain ideas. And Lally Mill was using this particular deck, which is in a little box in here, which fit perfectly in this little Field Notes Speckled Fawns in the Toasted Flan color. Going back to Lally Mill, she was using it's called the Connected and Free Alchemist's Oracle. She was using these cards to kind of have something to be an inspiration during working on a particular piece of art. So it comes with this little book that kind of tells you what each card is supposed to mean. And then, like here, sensual expression. Like you could be doing art and that's something that would inspire you. Spiritual suffering, like that's kind of interesting. Soul knowing, like these are all kind of abstract. So if it inspires you, great. Like sometimes even the image could inspire you. They all have really nice images. They're all art from this particular artist who put these together. Healer, beginnings, family, mentor, surrender. And again, if like something doesn't appeal to you in here, you just put it back and pick another one. I've been kind of resistant to this kind of thing for the longest time, just because if you can't tell by my name, which is Mystery, I grew up in kind of a late hippie household, and I've kind of moved away from that. And like I'm a lawyer, that's my profession. I tend to be, kind of serious and take things seriously when I do them. But there's a lot of good things that came out of that, like a healthy diet and all of that kind of thing. But a lot of this kind of thing kind of triggers me and makes me think about some of the negative things about my upbringing. So I'm trying to sort of detach this from my preconceived notions of what this kind of thing means. Like my mom talking about having a spirit animal or something like that, which I don't necessarily believe in, but if that's something that makes you happy and if that's something that you can identify with, I suppose if I really think about it, I probably do have a spirit animal, which would be a rabbit. Like rabbits are animals that I really, really like, and I really identify with them. I was born in the year of the rabbit. There's like all sorts of coincidences. And I kind of believe in astrology. I am a Cancer, which I think I have a lot of the traits of a Cancer. So it's all kind of an internal conflict with me of being raised with all of these sort of what I now consider, I don't want to say flaky hippie, but that's kind of the term that comes to mind when I think about these things. So I have all this upbringing in that sort of vein, and then I have been fighting against that for a lot of my life, trying to be more serious and professional and respectable and all that kind of stuff. Wow, this is like a psychology session right here. So I have all those things, but I also want to feel like I can connect with stuff that is helpful to me and can be inspiration to me and can be motivational and supportive and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I have all of these, because I really liked the way that Lally introduced all these concepts, and that it's all really sort of based in this self-love, or trying to have self-love, which is really hard for a lot of people, including myself, at different times in their life, if not always. So it really appealed to me, trying to tap into this more positive way of thinking, and to kind of tap into that as sort of a source for art and finding inspiration in that. And I think part of the reason why I'm a little bit more receptive to that now as well is that 3 years ago I had a really serious surgery that who knows if I was actually in any danger of dying, but it was really serious, and I was in the hospital for almost a week, and it was kind of a nightmare recovering. Like I had never been through that serious of a trauma before, physical trauma. So after that, being such a dramatic experience and something that I think was sort of life changing, I developed more of an openness to a lot of things, just because and I've always kind of felt this way. If I want to live my best life, right? I want to live my best life, but what does that mean? How much time do I spend on certain things? How much time do I spend working as opposed to doing things that I like doing, like art and that sort of thing? And so that's also one of the things that really got me back into art after not doing it for many, many years and just sort of focusing on my job and all this stuff. So that's that's in the psychology session that we're having today. That is another description of why I think that there is value in things like this, because even if some things trigger me and I think, oh, well, this is so flaky hippie, like maybe I need to get past that and view things as a useful tool to try and make my life better. So, but this is just a tool, and if you think it's flaky hippie and don't like that idea at all, that is totally fine. Like, go forth and think that all you want. I'm just saying that me personally, I've been trying to be more open to this kind of thing. And part of that means having these cards and little affirmations that I have on my desk to try and reinforce positive behavior for myself. And this goes along with a lot of things that I've done in my work and training. I took a lot of emotional intelligence training and really tried to tap into things that might be holding me back, both in my life and at work and all this kind of stuff. So it's been kind of a transformational 3 years, and part of that is creating this YouTube channel. So and sort of opening myself up to this and any potential criticism that comes in, and trying not to be too sensitive to that and all of that. So anyway, that was probably more than I wanted to talk about related to all these cards, but I think it is all related. And like I said, if you think all that's flaky hippie, I'm just trying to show you a way that you can store different stuff in a traveler's notebook. You can view this video as that. So here we go. I'm going to put those back in the frame here. So we have a pocket size or field note size speckled fawns in the toasted flan. This is a A6 Sojourner hybrid folio and TN. I believe that's what it is. And then this is a speckled fawns trifold micro, which is super cute. I think so. This is Kodiak leather, and then I'm not sure what the pocket leather is. This was a fairly recent purchase when they were doing their ready to ship, and they've been paring down their sales lately to kind of catch up on orders. But they've been posting some ready to ship things that they had sort of found in their warehouse, or things that were done for festivals or whatever that they couldn't go to this year. So this was one of those items. All right, and so I will post a link to the companies and the products that I showed off today. I'm not necessarily plugging any of these. It's just, if you're interested after you've seen them, you'll know where to get them. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks for hanging in with me all the way to the end. Feel free to subscribe and keep track of future videos, and have a great day. In the vein of being positive, please have a great day. All right. See you next time. Bye.